Hey guys, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. Today I'm going to be reacting to Legacy of Kain, the Elder God, a character study made by Strictly Fantasy. If you want to check out my previous reactions, remember the playlist card will be at the top. Just click on it and you'll be able to access them. Yes, the Elder God. I don't think he's a god. I think he's just a very powerful being, that likes to play around with Raziel as well as Mobius. I'm not sure about Kain, but Mobius and Raziel have been used by this supposed god. I don't know what kind of creature it is really, but it seems to always be constant, in the past, in the present, and in the future of these characters. Like there's always some sort of confrontation or some sort of discussion between Raziel and this creature, and probably also Mobius and this creature, whether it's from the far past or from the future. So this entity has always been there, but I'm not entirely sure if I could actually call it a god. I don't know if anyone's actually tried to kill it. Yeah. Alright, let's continue with the character study. 3, 2, 1, go.
Go now. Play out your pitiful rebellion and take your place among the destroyed, the used, and the damned. But know this, you are mine for eternity. You have always been and will always be my soul reaver.
Under normal laws of the space-time continuum, people can only exist in one place at one time. Contrary to this rule, however, is the concept of omnipresence. The Elder God from the Legacy of Kain series has referred to himself as an omnipresent being. In his own words, he has described himself as internally present, here and everywhere, now and always. Indeed, he would have us believe that there is no...
I'm not sure I understand that concept. Yeah. So what Strictly Fantasy is trying to say is that this being, this Elder God, has been here since the beginning of time, and it will continue to be here till the end of time. Maybe, I don't know. I just don't understand.
No place to which his knowledge and power do not extend. But I would argue that depends on the time period you're seeing him in. When we first meet the Elder God, thousands of years into Nosgoth's ghastly future, he appears to our protagonist Raziel as the cephalopod-like creature, humongous in size, with a series of eyes and tentacles whirling around him. The Elder God presents himself as a mysterious benefactor and ally. He sympathizes with Raziel's plight and motivates him to destroy all vampiric unlife after Raziel's cruel treatment at the hands of Kain. The way the Elder God is first introduced by the writers is cleverly handled, because like Raziel, we as gamers are in this new eerie place, uncertain of what to do or where to go. We are immediately given someone to turn to mentor us in the ways of the spectral realm, while explaining the history of one region to the next. During his first scene, he claims to be the hub of the Wheel of Fate, the preternatural cycle of birth, death and rebirth to which all souls are drawn. That comment alone would suggest that he is a deity and is responsible for the endless spiral that is life and death. Raziel accepts.
Okay, so he's like multiple types of gods mixed into one. A god of death, a god of war, a god of life, all mixed into one, and a god of time, probably. Alright.
The creature for what he says. He doesn't question him at any point throughout Soul Reaver 1, so we in turn have no reason to distrust the Elder either, especially as he has cemented himself in his role as our guide. He's at least as big as a continent, occupying the deep caverns beneath the abyss.
What? As big as a continent?
Cemetery the pillars, and the vampire citadel. We can assume his size is even bigger in the first Soul Reaver game, given how he's seemingly able to speak to Raziel across all of Nosgoth. Interesting.
Okay, alright, I guess I can understand that, maybe. But couldn't he just be like psychic or something? Maybe he's talking to Raziel telepathically. I mean, it looks like it's that type of creature that could do something like that.
Interestingly, when Raziel journeys back into the past, the Elder's voice vanishes until he comes face to face with the creature again beneath the pillars, where he is noticeably smaller. Soul Reaver 2 also reveals that the Elder is not as benevolent as we were originally led to believe. In fact, he is often depicted as primal, angry, and righteous, either repeating the same urgent order to kill Kain or chastising Raziel for neglecting to do so. His close ties to the time streamer Mobius, who is well known to be devious and an all-round snake, further sows the seeds of suspicion in Raziel.
Do not fail me, my servant.
I serve no one. Not you, not Kain, and not your lackey Mobius.
Mobius is my good servant. I have many.
And if I tell Mobius that he's worshipping a giant squid, do you think his faith will falter?
Doesn't he already know? I mean, he was captured by the vampires, and I think he escaped, and he found his way to the Elder God. So I'm sure he knows what he looks like.
You have grown willful, Raziel. But beware. To embrace a serpent is to invite poison into your heart. Kain is a sinuous beast. He will seduce and deceive you. You pride yourself on your free will, yet you let that degenerate deter your resolve.
The Elder God comes across as being exceedingly spiteful, whilst
The Elder God sounds like a teacher I used to know. Wow. Yeah, it's really getting interesting. So the Elder God also has a disdain for vampires. I wonder why. Now I understand why Mobius and the Elder God are such close, friends, and the master and apprentice level kind of situation between the two. I can see now.
continuing to assert himself with lofty titles such as the Engine of Life and the Devourer of Death. Ironically, the latter of these two titles does somewhat reflect his true nature, that of a parasite. As I have said before, the Wheel of Fate is an inescapable cycle of birth, death, and reincarnation to which all living creatures are compelled. When a creature dies in the material realm, their spirit is drawn to the will to be returned to Nosgoth as something new. The Elder God claims to be the architect of this process, whose role is to spin the souls of the dead so that they can complete their destinies. This is a lie. What he really is a greedy parasite who has latched onto the wheel in order to manipulate and feed off its spiritual energies. During Raziel's remaking as a wraith, the Elder God bound himself to the fallen vampire. Therefore, every soul Raziel consumes not only nourishes and replenishes his own health, but also returns a portion of it to the Elder. So he's basically taking a huge chunk off the top of every soul Raziel eats. Rather than let
And Raziel is the Soul Reaver, so wow. Imagine every single person he kills, that part of that soul goes to this Elder God. Wow.
all that spirit energy go back into the world, as it should, the Elder God interrupts the natural flow of reincarnation by devouring those souls for himself. This would seem to suggest then that as the eons pass and he siphons more spiritual energy, the Elder God thrives and grows over time. Essentially, he is only able to see and speak everywhere when he is large enough to extend his tentacles and eyes across all of the underworld, as seen in Soul Reaver 1. Nevertheless, even in Nosgoth's early history, he is still very powerful, as he is omnipresent on a temporal level, existing in the past, present, and future simultaneously. In this sense, he is what you might call timeless. The origin of the Elder God is deliberately left ambiguous, but the character clearly takes inspiration from H.P. Lovecraft's novels. In Lovecraft's stories, gods are not divine righteous beings, but are rather extraterrestrial monstrosities. Humanity wrongfully worships these cosmic entities, and while they exert incredible power, they are still just another form of organism. This parallels with themes rooted in the Legacy of Kain series, and how the Elder God tricks the original ancient vampire race into doing his bidding through their blind faith and devotion to him. While the ancients submitted to the will of fate, the Hilden, another race present in Nosgoth, refused to do so, thus leading the Elder God to incite a war between the two races. This of course resulted in the Hilden being banished to the demon dimension, while the vampires were cursed with an immortal existence. As the vampires were no longer able to die, the Elder God turned his back on them. Essentially, they had outlived their usefulness, since he could no longer feed off their undying souls. Despite years of unquestionable loyalty, the Elder God resolves to wipe them all out, with the help of humans, who are just as easily susceptible to manipulation. The Elder's utter contempt for the vampires is referred to several times over the course of the games.
These are the fathomless truths, Raziel. The agony of birth and death and rebirth. This is the wheel of fate, the purifying cycle which sustains all life. Vampires are an abomination, a plague which leeches this land of its spiritual strength. They obstruct the flow of life and death. Their souls stagnate in their wretched corpses. But the wheel must turn. Death is inexorable and cannot be denied. Your destiny is irresistible, Raziel. You are my soul reaver, the scourge of the vampires, reaper of their apostate souls.
Looking back on the series, I see now that the release of the Hilden from the demon realm was an objective the Elder was pursuing all along. The death of Kain would have meant the complete collapse of the pillars, thus allowing for the Hilden's return. That's a whole species to feed one gluttonous parasite. This is a creature who thrives on war and suffering.
I just knew it. This is no god, it's just a very powerful being that is also acting like a parasite and growing large, the size of a continent, you know, sucking so many souls. Wow.
Indeed, the more death he causes, the more souls he can leech. It's a really disturbing thought. An otherworldly evil whose primary ambition is to provoke as much hatred and war.
This image is so... It's amazing. It's amazing. Because there's the Elder God and those are the souls being sucked in by the Elder God. I think that's what it's depicting here.
As possible in order to feed from the souls of the dead. Given what we know now about the Elder being a false god, I wonder whether he was in fact responsible for reviving Wraith Raziel. We know the Elder God does have the power to resurrect people, as seen with Mobius in Defiance, but Raziel himself questions whether another force brought him back, and that the Elder God merely took credit so as to gain Raziel's trust. While both theories are plausible, personally, I like to believe that Raziel would have risen anyway, simply because his soul needed to eventually become imprisoned in the Reaver Blade in order for history to run its intended course. In the end, the Elder God is a devious, wrathful abomination who likes to spend his time spreading false, over-embellished accounts of his stature and role. While we cannot deny his power, he is not unbeatable, as shown when Kain is able to damage him. Had we gotten a final chapter in the series, I would have liked to have seen how...
Okay, so Kain is the one who's been fighting against him, not Mobius, not Raziel. Okay, interesting.
How the Elder God is finally defeated. It has been hinted at by the series creators that Kain would have travelled back to the future era to destroy the Elder God and hence restore Nosgoth before returning the Soul Reaver to its proper point in time. We still know next to nothing of this backstory or where he came from. Did he sprung from the wheel, or is he a visitor from the stars who came to devour Nosgoth before moving on to the next planet? Let me know your
Yeah, I think he's an extraterrestrial, maybe.
thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, do leave a like and subscribe. Until next time.
Okay guys, that was Legacy of Kain the Elder God, a character study by Strictly Fantasy. Yes, I knew this creature was not really a god, although its abilities are godly, I must admit. In terms of it not being affected by time, it's outside of time, its own existence is outside of time, it's not affected by the past, by the present or the future, really. Yeah, and it's a parasite, just like Strictly Fantasy said, you know, it sucks souls to sustain itself and gorges so much of it that in the future, far future, it becomes this giant creature that has extended its tentacles so far, you know, it's the size of a continent. So definitely, it's a parasite with very well, it has a platitudes of words, you know, to try and convince or try to impress the people that it wants to use. In terms of Kain or Mobius, you know, at least with Mobius, you know, they both have the same objective. They want vampires gone. With Kain, he had to try and convince him over and over again to help defeat the vampires, join forces with me, because Raziel, yes, he does think for himself, but you know, if you can convince him well enough with words, he'll be on your side. Just ask Mobius. Mobius knows, you know, if you're able to consistently give him information, try to convince him onto your side of thinking, eventually it's going to work. So yeah, the Soul Reaver or Raziel, he's being controlled by so many people, really so many people. Kain, the Elder God, and by Mobius. So yeah, Kain was able to fight against this creature. Oh yeah, no, Strictly Fantasy did say that the creature is not dead, so I'm not sure if this creature can actually be killed, and what version of this creature will you be killing, because you know, it's outside of time, it's not affected by it. So the past Elder God might realize what happens in the future, and then it will try to prevent that somehow. I don't know, but all I know is that this thing is a parasite. It's a demigod, I would say, not a god. And yeah, it's an extraterrestrial as well. Yeah, it's otherworldly. It doesn't come from Nosgoth, I think. Guys, I guess that's it. If you like the video, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye.